Well, this is not the video I really wanted to make about the Dodge Badassador program. Obviously, you already know why, based on the thumbnail and title, which will reveal what this video is about. I've yet to make those, but I already know basically what it's going to say. So this video, I'm going to just say it's been a very disappointing day. It's kind of sucked, got off on a bad foot, and I just need to talk to you all. I need to get some things off my chest, just discuss some things. And so we're probably going to get a little personal in this video, going to get a little deep. You're going to get to know a lot more about me. And I'll be honest, at first when I got the bad news, I was already thinking I just need to go live. I just need to vent. I need to talk about things just to get myself to feel better. But then as the day has gone on, I still need to do that, if I'm going to be honest. But there's still some hope, which is probably not smart of me, but it's there. I can't help myself. And so this video is going to kind of go in different directions, but it's all going to be about the Dodge Badassador program. And I'm going to share some insights. I'm going to share emails that I got. And I'm even going to share some audio recording because I actually made it past the application stage and I made it into the interview stage. And it's something I haven't posted about or talked about because I'm kind of superstitious. I'm like, I don't want to jinx anything. But then I did tell some people over the weekend, like my hockey team, and maybe that jinxed it. Now, as always, I always try to keep things real with you all. And this video may at times get to rambling on, and I would love to just do just a single take, just let's talk about it all. But the reality of it is I'm not that kind of person. It's hard for me to be very eloquent in all a single long thought. And so I'm going to have to edit some things out, mostly just long pauses and times where I'm just kind of figuring what I want to say, because this is all unscripted. I don't have anything written down. I have thought about what I'm going to say and what I want to talk about, but then once I'm on the spot, I may not fully remember. I will say I will try to keep my edits and cuts to a bare minimum, mainly just to get out those long pauses. So first thing I want to do, let me just give you a timeline of what's been going on. So back on January 24th, it was not long after the Legion Demons race. I just set new records, and I actually have my old time slip and info on Dodge Garage in the 1320 Club. So I went on to Dodge Garage to take a look at when was the last time I updated it, because I knew I need to update it with my new record times. And as soon as I get on there, I see this Dodge Badassador program. I'm like, what is this? And I'm reading about it, I'm like, this is cool. I want to do this. Regardless of the direction of Dodge, I feel they're righting the ship. They're going in the right direction now. And things are controversial. I've already seen some people making fun of this. It's another cheap donut maker, which we'll talk about that later too. But this is not a paid position. It's completely different. And the ways that it's different is actually what makes this a little bit worse to handle. Anyway, again, we'll get into all that later. So January 24th, I see this, I'm like, I'm applying. So I fill out the application, just some basic questions. What are, your social media handles? And then I forgot the other questions. Let me see. Oh, it was, what do we need to know about you that might surprise us? Have you repped any brands before? All this stuff, you can actually go on there right now and go to apply, and you'll see the exact same questions. So you can check that out for yourself if you want. And the thing that really intrigued me about this is, one, it's not just one person. It's just not one chief badassador. It's multiple. It's a team of them, an army of them. And it's not paid. So there is no 150 grand or nothing like that. So I fill it out, and then, once you fill it out, you get this screen here, and I'm going to share some screenshots of some of these things, which is, hey, thanks. And we'll check out your application, let you know next couple weeks. Well, it was about 2 weeks after that. It was February 6th, and I got this email here. And first thing I see in the title, you're one step closer to becoming a Dodge Badassador. I can't tell you how ecstatic I was when I saw this email. Like, I had this huge smile. I'm like, not only did they see my application, they liked it enough that they want to schedule an interview. And I went on there, I clicked that Calendly link instantly. And I looked up and scheduled the very first interview available, which at the time was February 12th in the morning. But they did have interviews available up to the 22nd, 23rd, which I'll talk about that as well in a second. And so I set it for February 12th, the morning of, and going up between the February 6th and February 12th, man, that's all I could think about. What am I going to say? What are they going to ask? And I'm trying to think, like, what kind of questions do I think they would ask? And then I try to answer them. And so I was doing everything I could think of to prepare for this because this is like a big moment for me. I'm always like, I understand that face value, I may not seem like the right type of person for something, especially like this, but I feel if I get to talk to you, if I get to talk to somebody, that might change. Like you might see who I really am. And I feel like when you see who I really am, I'm a good fit for a lot of things because I'm really good at the things I do, the things I take on. And this is a case where I am a perfect fit for it. I have zero doubt in my mind. I would be one of the best badassadors that they would have. No doubt at all. But I have this interview coming up, and man, I'm nervous. So February 12th comes along. I'm so nervous, I was thinking, okay, I want to screen record this. But then I completely blanked and forgot. Jumped in the interview, and last second, I was like, I forgot to screen record. And of course, I don't want to mess with anything, so I don't deal with any of that. But I do grab my phone and just hit the record button on really quick. So I captured all the audio. And again, I'm going to play a little clip of that for you later on in this video because it's going to play into what I'm going to talk about. And the interview went great, honestly. They told me about the program and they asked some basic questions, asked me things like what do I think makes me unique, and a few other things. And it was about a 30-minute interview. I interviewed two different people and they were both on at the same time. And again, interview went great, smiles, laughs, everybody, seemed like I was making a great impression. Everything went great. Now, being the type of person I am, there were some things that I said that I'm like, for the next like week, 2 weeks after that, well, to right now, I'm just like, why did I say that? Or I answered a question where I knew what I was feeling and what I wanted to get across, but sometimes the words that come out of my mouth do not perfectly match what the intent is that I'm thinking I'm trying to get across. And there was one thing specifically, and it had to do with what would getting this position mean for me, something like that. And I think I said something that to me, I'm just afterwards, I'm like, why did you idiot, you stupid, why did you say that? That came off worse than I thought. Now, did it really? I honestly don't know because they didn't tell me. But it's something that's in my head. And then all this time, and then since the interview, I'm just thinking, okay, I'm the type of person that, hope for the best, expect the worst, but I tend to emphasize the expect the worst part. Because if I hope too much, then that leads to more disappointment. And I am not a person that handles disappointment very well. I will harp on things and think about it and overthink about it, and just I can't stop thinking about it. And being that I know that about myself, I do what I can to protect myself from that. And part of that is always underestimate, just not, saying that like back when I used to be paid hourly and I didn't know how much taxes would come out of checks, I would expect a low check. So when it came in higher, I'd be happy. Because if it came in lower, I'd be disappointed. Same thing with everything else. I'd always try to more expect the worst. So even though I was hoping that I would become this badassador, and I really do feel I'd be the perfect fit, and I did, honestly. I had daydreams. I was visualizing what would happen, the things I would get to see, things I would get to do. And every time I started getting really like happy, like, oh my gosh, like I can't imagine like getting a chance to do this. And I would actually constantly have to stop myself, be like, all right, look, odds are you're probably not going to get it. Stop it. Because the more you think about it, the harder, the worse the disappointment's going to be. Well, 2 weeks later, come to almost 2 weeks, come to today. Today is February 25th. And I get this email, popped up the notification. And as soon as I saw the title, as soon as I saw, thank you for your time and passion. If that isn't the title to a rejection email or rejection letter, I don't know what is. I knew instantly that was not good. And I opened it up and I read it, and it ruined my whole day. I mean, I literally have not been able to think about anything else all day. Not my regular work, nothing. Like, and that's an issue I have on me. And the worst thing is I read this email, and the way I read it, what comes across in my head is, thank you for applying, but you're not the person. We reject you. You're not good enough to be the Badassador. And at the end, the part that I like, I think it's not funny, but it says, keep fueling the Dodge spirit out there. And that hurts. So I'm looking at this email like, thanks for applying. You're not good enough for this role, but hey, keep being a brand ambassador for free with no perks whatsoever. Keep doing what you're doing, because I kind of told him in an interview too. I'm like, I've kind of been a brand ambassador for a long time, just never acknowledged or official or paid for or any perks or anything at all, because Dodge has been part of my life, my family, literally my entire life. And seeing that rejection in words, it hurts. I'll be honest, it really does. And I'll get to why. I'm going to talk about why a bit more here. So now, some of the stuff I've been talking about so far, I know there's people out there that understand where I'm coming from. And that is because, and again, we're going to get probably too personal, more personal than I should, but I keep it real. And that's another reason why I think I'm a great fit for this Badassador in the context of what the whole program is. Because not long ago, a doctor basically said, I have ADHD. And there's a lot of traits, a lot of things with that, that when I found out, makes so much sense. It like blew my mind. Like, all these things are associated to that, and one of which is, they call it something like a rejection sensitivity deal. Anyway, nobody likes rejection, obviously. That's a given. But some people do take it harder than others. And the ones like me that take it really, really bad, apparently it's common with ADHD people, where it affects you because when it happens, you can't just let it go. You can't just move on. You will not stop thinking about it. You'll just be like, what did I do wrong? Why did they not choose me? Why am I not good enough? And it sucks. It really sucks, because it's something that kind of, it affects your life, because you find yourself over time holding back. You're holding yourself back because you're scared to take a leap or a jump or take a chance on some risk on something for fear of that rejection, because you know that you are not equipped to handle it very well. Which is crazy. I do this YouTube thing because, man, YouTube, you're putting yourself out there, and I'm sure I'm sure I'll get some troll comments on this one too. It'll probably happen. Now, I will say, surprisingly, a lot of my stuff, I don't get as many troll comments as I would think I do. And I think the reason for that is because I do try to come off as more real. And I think I do a pretty good job with that, at least from the feedback I get from you all, because we've kind of built a little community here. And there have been times that I have a bad day or something bad is going on. I'll jump on the live stream. I haven't done it in a while, sorry. But I'd be talking to you all, and man, you guys have helped me. Like, I do everything I can to help you. How-tos, videos with what I'm doing, showing everything. And I'm hoping I'm providing some help or entertainment or something for you. But also at the same time, you're helping me out. And I'm a tiny channel still, obviously. I don't have, I'm actually just about to hit 5,000 subs. I'm just like 11 away right now as of this recording. And this is a point where I kind of lost my train of thought. So, but anyway, moving on to one of the first, I just want to talk about why this is so disappointing to me. Because Dodge is, I mentioned the word family before, and this is completely different than people that are brand loyal. Yes, I'm loyal, but I'm not brand loyal, because brand loyal people are kind of like when you're loyal to a job that you like or a company that you work for, where you will do everything you can to never say anything negative. You are the yes man. The yes man that Tim Kuniskis, who at the time was CEO, said that's what they didn't want for the chief donut maker. Which, when he said that, kind of made me feel better, because even though I'm not a yes man, I am very biased because, again, Dodge is like family. But here's the thing, I am not afraid to be critical, because, like family, it's good to be critical. If you have someone in your family you care about, when they screw up or if they're going down the wrong path, you call them out on it. You're like, I don't like what you're doing here, or I think you could improve this, whatever, because you don't want to see nothing bad happen to them. And that's how I feel with Dodge. I love the company. It is my family. It's literally all I've known my whole life. I grew up surrounded in the Dodge family. And I'm not afraid to call them out. I'll tell you the truth. When I don't like something about my car or my Ram, my Challenger, I'll say, this part sucks. I wish they could fix this. If they start seeing somebody that I don't approve of, I think is going to ruin the company, I'll say, this person is not right for the company. I mean, if you watch my recent 1 year review of the Jeep Grand Cherokee that we got from my wife, I tell you right in that video, like, I love Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. I'm not overly happy with this Jeep. The one thing I didn't say in that video is, Jeep, even though it's under the whole umbrella, it's not quite the same as Dodge, and I've always been all Dodge. But still, I'm not afraid to say, I don't like all these electrical issues. I don't like this. I just don't feel comfortable with this, or whatever it may be. So I'm not 100% like, oh my gosh, Dodge can do no wrong. Of course they can. Just like your spouse, your child, they're going to screw up. They can do things wrong. And that's how I see it. And the reason for that is again, I grew up around Dodge. So right here, this is a retirement plaque that they gave my dad. And you can see here, he started working there June of 1972. That was before I was born. Now, I'll tell you right now, I was born in 77. So he had already been working for Chrysler at the Dodge factory for 5 years before I was even born. And my first memory of vehicle that he had, I'm pretty sure it was like a dark burgundy, maroonish Dodge Aspen station wagon. I have very faint memories of it, like, well, when I was young. Then he had a 1984 Dodge Ram van, which one of my earliest road trip memories was riding in the back of that van down to Florida from Detroit, going down I-75. And obviously him working for Chrysler. There's Chrysler Pentastars all over. His checks come from there. I actually still have his gate badge to get into the factory. He worked at a Warren Stamping, which he retired from, obviously. But it wasn't just my dad. My family, I had cousins, uncles, they all worked for Dodge. Because back then, you have to remember, I'm son of Polish immigrants, and they build communities, and there's a huge, obvious Polish community in Detroit. And a way a lot of things work is, they come from another country to find work. Well, they know people in a place, and those people get them jobs. So it's like one of those things, when you're an immigrant, you go to your friends, your family, and they get you work in where they are. And obviously Detroit, early 70s, automotive industry is doing pretty good. They need workers, so it was easier to get on back then. So literally most of my family also works for Dodge, drives nothing but Dodges or Chryslers. And so it's all I've been surrounded with. So being inside of a Dodge vehicle is all I've ever known. It's comfortable to me, because let's face it, different vehicles have a certain vibe to them. You sit in a Ford or a Toyota or GM, they each have their own vibe. They're completely different. And then even shows like I remember Dukes of Hazzard, man, that 69 Charger, loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then you have a show like Knight Rider. Good show. I enjoyed the show, but I actually felt guilty watching it because the star is a Pontiac. And Kit was cool, but I hated the car because it was a Pontiac. It just didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel good. It felt weird. Same thing, going to auto shows. I bring up this example a lot for people to kind of explain where I'm coming from because home and your family is where you are comfortable, what feels good. So imagine yourself out in a strange place. You're uncomfortable, you're tense, you're a bit anxious, things just don't feel good. You can't wait to get home. And then as soon as you get home, you just feel the sense of calm and everything feels good. Well, that's how it is with me when I'm in other vehicles and then step into a Dodge. Or like I like talk about when I used to go to Detroit Auto Show every year, and I would go into the Ford display area, the GM display area, because I'd like to see what they're doing. Even though if I don't like the cars, I want to see what they're doing. But I just felt out of place. I felt like I don't belong there. Like it was such this weird feeling. And I'm not even joking. Like as soon as I went to the Dodge display area, like the moment my foot crossed that line in the floor, I felt like I was home. I literally could just spend my entire day there and be happy. And then from there, all my first vehicles, all I've ever driven is a Dodge. I've had 5 Dodge Rams now, Dodge Avenger, Dodge Caravan, Dodge Challenger that obviously you guys are all here for. My friends drove Dodges. I mean, some of my best friends, were driving them. And we're talking even back in the 90s, before Dodge had a rear wheel drive muscle car, which is one reason I drove Rams. But I had friends that were driving 4-cylinder turbo Shelby Chargers. My mom had a Dodge Spirit. I mean, I was still around during that time and I was still Dodge, like, there was still my family. So I wanted them to get a V8 rear wheel drive car, but they didn't. I still, enjoyed what they had and I was still there. I wasn't going anywhere. And that gives me a perspective that's different than the people that didn't come on until the Hellcat. Because there are a lot of people that had nothing to do with Dodge until a 700 horsepower badass car came out. Then all of a sudden they jump in, which is great, which is cool, awesome. Best thing that Dodge kind of ever did. But I was still there through the worst part. I was there when things were bad. I was there through the Daimler days when things really, people really thought things were going downhill. And I stuck through it. And I've always been there for Dodge. So you add that into this, and that is why getting this email is so disappointing. It's like a slap in the face. Like, I've practically, in a lot of ways, given my life to Dodge. And it's almost like they're taking it all for granted. It was so hard because it was even so hard that normally when I'm doing a video like this, I'm doing a live stream, I'm usually putting on a Dodge hat, some kind of Dodge shirt. In fact, during an interview, I wore a Direct Connection shirt. And this morning, I could not get myself to put on a Dodge shirt. I'm wearing here, this is a Great Smoky Mountains National Park hat. Whereas most of my hats are Dodge related. I have a bunch of Dodge shirts and I just feel so rejected from Dodge that and what sucks is I can't go anywhere else because again, I can't do Ford. Definitely can't do Ford. Chevy, I guess if I was forced to, but it's like one of those things where I just don't feel comfortable in them. So it's kind of like I'm in a situation where, I wish I could go away. I wish I could go to other brands, other vehicles, but I just don't feel right in them. But at the same time, I have this relationship with this brand that doesn't want me, or at least that's how I feel. And like I said, I'm getting a bit personal and crazy in this video, but it is what it is. And that is one of the reasons why, when we just segue into this, why I think I would have been one of the best Badassadors, because there's a lot of things I'm not. I am not loud and confident like Demonology. I am not a smooth talker like Racer X, who he could probably do this in one take and not fumble around and is awesome. I'm not the motivational kind like OC Motivator. I'm not carefree like TK, who literally say anything. I don't have the insider connections like Butter. I don't have a lot of these different qualities that some of these other people have. But I do have qualities that they don't have. And here's the thing, the Badassador program isn't just one person, it's not a chief donut maker. It is multiple people. So they obviously want to cover multiple different people. They want a loud, confident person like Demonology. They want a smooth talker like Racer. They want different people like that. But that's why I would fit into this team, because it's a team, an army. I think they actually say somewhere it's an army of Badassadors, which hurts even more because it's not like I lost out on one position. I'm not even good enough to be part of a team or an army. Like numerous people not even make it for that. Anyway, I'll try to keep on track here. It's like I told them in my interview. One thing I have that I feel a lot of people don't is just the ability to have relationships with people, the trust. And that's because I'm real. And I was saying, to be a good brand ambassador, it really is about relationships and to have trust. You want people to trust you, because otherwise, what does anything you're being an ambassador to even matter if they can't trust you? And that's one thing, multiple things. I don't want to say good at, 'cause it's not really a skill. It just comes natural to me. I get along with so many people. It's why we've built this community. And I mentioned, I actually talked about all of you in this interview too, because we have this community where I have friendships with some of you outside of YouTube. I'll meet some of you at the track and hang out with some of you at different ones all around the country, whether it's Orlando or Kansas, Detroit, wherever. I've met so many of you, and we have this community, and it's been so awesome because I also see you guys standing up for me. Like, there'll be sometimes someone will say something negative about me somewhere, and one of you may jump in and have my back. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. But I think that really shows what Dodge is not seeing they get with me, is I have this community of people that will have my back because I have theirs. And I am real. Because unlike some people, you'll have people that talk about, oh man, I ran this 11-second time in a quarter mile and my car's all stock. And then you start asking questions. You're like, wait, but it looks like your car has drag wheels on it. Like, oh yeah, except those two. And then you're like, but wait, that doesn't sound like a stock exhaust. And you're like, oh yeah, I have this exhausting too. And then it's almost like you have to pry information out of them. And by the end of it, the stock car that makes this awesome time, you found out, is tuned with headers and wheels and just all these things, and a 50 shot of nitrous, because they're scared to put things out. And you know me, when I put things out, I tell you all everything. I straight up say, like, my car is not stock, but the engine is stock, or whatever is stock. I've done all this weight reduction. I've taken this out, taken that out. I did it in great weather. I'm not claiming I can run this in Vegas with 5,000 DA. I put everything out there. If I make a mistake, if I screw up, I do something bad, I'm not scared. I'll put it out there. You look at my how-to videos, man, when I did the simple CAI install, that video was way longer than it should have been because I struggled getting the dang box in. My video about fixing the exhaust manifold bolt on my Ram, I screwed up prying the bolt out, ended up snapping it, then had to drill it. It was a bit of a nightmare, but you know what? I show all that because I'm not the only one that makes mistakes. A lot of people do, but they'll cover it up, or they won't talk about it. They'll skip steps. And I want to share all that because I want to be real with you. I want to show you, okay, this is something that screws something up. And if I make a bonehead mistake, like I've lost races doing bonehead, stupid mistakes, I'm still going to show you that because I'm not perfect. I make stupid mistakes. We all do. And I think that goes a long way in building trust, because you can trust that that person is being real with you. And that's all I ever try to be. And that's what this whole video is about, is just being real with you and real with Dodge. But all hope is not lost, which is probably stupid of me to think, because I'm just putting myself in a bad position here. And this is where I can use your guys' help. I need your help commenting, replying to this video. Tell me your thoughts. Tell Dodge what you think. And if you think it's bad, honestly, put it in there too. If you think I'm just, if you want to just say, get over it, deal with it, I mean, I can't stop you. Do what you got to do. But also share this video. Tag people. I'm going to tag some people, because what I want to do, and we're going to take this we're going to keep going here, because I have some more stuff I want to talk about. But I want Dodge to see this. I want the right people, other people, to see this. To either, who knows, maybe I have a shot to change their minds. If it's too late to change their minds, I'd like them to at least see what they're missing out on. Maybe even regret rejecting me. I don't know. The point is, again, I'm not leaving Dodge. I'm still Dodge lifer. It's just who I am. It's family. It's what I know. It's what I'm comfortable with. I can't go anywhere. And I love the brand. I want to see them succeed. I want to see things go good. I do. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play a little bit of an audio recording from my interview to tell you what the next steps are, at least what I decided to turn this video into, as I had time to reflect in the past 6 hours that I've been hardcore focusing on all this, because there's some interesting information they give in this review, or in this interview. And unfortunately, the recording is on this phone that I'm recording me with right now. So here is a definite edit we're going to have to put in, because I'm going to have to stop this and play this and record it. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, just pulled that file off of my phone, so let's pull that up and listen to it.
So there's been some confusion there on that. Basically, with Chief Donut Maker, Preston was a ton of fun. It was a really great program. Super fun for the brand, super fun for Preston and everybody else that followed him. But he's a lone person, right? And
right.
In so many places. So we thought, why don't we have a whole gang of them?
Right.
And across the United States. And they don't have to be car fanatics. They don't have to be Dodge fanatics. They can be chefs. We've talked to a musician. You just have to be super passionate about something. Because that's really what the Dodge community is all about, right? It's super passionate and eager to share their story and their passion with others. So the program is, we're looking for up to 12 people to start off. I like to describe the program as kind of a living and breathing program. There's no end date. You might have noticed that when you applied. There's no cutoff date, and there's a reason for that, because there's no cutoff date. People can come in and come out it's a very fluid program. So if you were chosen to be a badasser and something popped up in your personal life, and you're like, guys, this was great fun, but I've got stuff in my personal life that happened, and we step away. We're like, awesome, you do you. Let us know how it goes. Mm-hmm. Good luck, and come back if you want. So Courtney and I kind of like to view any kind of work with social influencers, brand ambassadors, as it's got to work for both sides, right? It's got to work for Dodge. Right. It's also got to work for the person. And sometimes things come up. So, and then someone might apply in July and be like, wow, this person would be a great fit. So there's no end date. It's not from this time to this time. So what else for the program? I'm having a
No, it's
brain fart.
fine. So what we're really trying to build, like when explained, is a group of what we're kind of calling like the next gen. Because we don't know, there are people that we've worked with over time, the kind of big influencer names that we all know who work with Dodge. And we're trying to find that next gen group of people. So what we're looking for are people with um, Dodge fandom and background, but also with some other interesting, life aspect or background, whether it's, what you do or what you do with your family, something else to really showcase the holistic version of you as a person. Because we are really looking for badassadors who have a badass life, all the way around.
Right.
We're also looking for badassadors who are all over the country because we want to give people opportunities to attend events, in your own backyard or pretty close to. So if there's something going on as small as a cars and coffee or as big as, hey, I'm going to SEMA.
Okay, I got to pause it right there for a second because I want to address a couple things they're talking about here. And this was kind of at the beginning of the interview. Part of why I think I'd be a great fit. First, the whole gang part of it. Like a gang of badassadors, a bunch of them, not just one. I already touched on this part. Kind of makes this rejection part worse because I'm not good enough to be part of numerous. And they said 12. I saw somewhere else somebody said 20. Obviously, I got to believe the people at Dodge who are telling me it's 12. But the part where they talked about not just Dodge fan base, not just Dodge knowledge, but everything, just a badass life. And it's like I'm just thinking like, oh my gosh, and this is one of the reasons I'm like thinking I actually have a shot because this is me. I have this Dodge knowledge, this Dodge history, and I'm a big fan. And I can walk into just about any Dodge dealership, and I will know more facts about Dodge than almost every salesperson out there, guaranteed. Like I have no doubt. But it's not it. That's not the only thing. I mean, I'm an Air Force veteran. I worked on fighter jets. I worked on stealth jets. I also love hockey. I actually play hockey. I'm in a beer league playing hockey on weekend nights. I have an awesome family life. A daughter who also plays hockey, a daughter who plays trumpet, a daughter who is into so many things just like I am. And we love to travel. We love to see things. I love food and cooking. I play a little bit of guitar. Like there are so many sides of me, so many things outside of just Dodge and cars. And I'm just like, what you are describing is me. Like it could not be more me, which is crazy to me. Anyway, let's go back and see what else they have to say.
Because we want to give people opportunities to attend events, in your own backyard or pretty close to. So if there's something going on as small as a cars and coffee or as big as, hey, I'm going to SEMA, what can you guys do? We can, procure tickets for you, get you access to some cool events, roll out the red carpet as best as possible to those things, and we'll all know up front. So we're going to give our badassador the calendar of events for the year and say, hey, what do you think you want to go to this year? And what we want to get you on this list so you get some cool opportunities.
All right, another break. Here's another thing. I'm like thinking like, okay, they said they want people all around the country, different places. And I know there's a lot of Texas people, but I'm not stuck just in Texas. You know me, I go travel around places. I mean, yes, I do a lot of racing in Texas, but I race at Holly Mo Party in Beach Bend, Kentucky. I've done the Modern Street Hemi Shootout Series where I've raced in Kansas, Florida, North Carolina, Maryland, and Detroit. It's where I'm from. I live in Texas, but I'm from Detroit, and I'm actually planning to go Orlando in a couple weeks or week and a half. I fully intend to go to Detroit this summer for Woodward Dream Cruise and a Hemi Shootout out there. Depending how Orlando goes, I may go to other Hemi Shootout races in different parts of the country. So yes, I have access to the Texas area because this is where I am. But I'm also already going to other places at some of these other events that they may be at possibly. I mean, I'll be there for Woodward Dream Cruise. You know they're going to do some for that. And I'm already going to be there. I'm 99% sure I'm going to be there for that. So they're guaranteed with me somebody that is going to go to a lot of events. Although I did tell them that, so maybe they're thinking, oh, this guy's going to these events anyway. Why do we need to add him into this program if he's going to do it anyway? Anyway, thoughts like this run in my head all the time too. Anyway, let's go back and hear what else. I think there might be a little bit more, not much, but let's just listen in.
That sounds perfect. I mean, that's pretty much exactly what I'm wanting to do and love to do, and actually do travel a lot. And
Okay, so you don't need to hear me say pretty much what I just told you. So let's skip ahead, see if there's anything else interesting here.
Well, that's great. And if I could just kind of backtrack and switch gears
yeah,
to the content and work that you
hmm
produce, can you tell us a little bit about your influencer journey and what got you started and kind of what the, brief history has been?
Okay, and I don't think there's really not much else interesting. Most of it is just them asking me a couple questions like that. And I kind of told them why I like to do what I do because I love helping people. I love to share my experiences and connecting with people. And that's actually one of the reasons why I stay so real is because I'm a person that I have to learn things the hard way. Like you could tell me over and over and over again, you need to do this or else you're going to pay this consequence. And people can tell me and show me proof and it's not going to get drilled into me until I just do it and suffer the consequences myself. And that's part of why I show all the mistakes I make too, because a lot of people aren't like me. So maybe if I show you my mistakes, I've done that for you. I've done the wrong thing so that you can learn from it. And I love that feeling. I love nothing more than getting a comment from one of you saying, "Oh my gosh, you're like the not the stupidest, but the craziest video I have made that video that talks about the rear view mirror in my Dodge Challenger, and I take it off for weight all the time. But I've always heard people accidentally knock it off and ask, "How do you put it back on?" So I'm like, I'm gonna make a video showing you exactly how to do it, and that's actually one of my best videos. And as simple as that is, whenever I get someone jumping in saying, "Oh my gosh, you're a lifesaver! I accidentally knocked my mirror off, and I had no idea what to do," and then you helped me. Found your video and you showed me, and that feels good. Like it just that's why I do this. And that extends to being a badassador. That extends to being a brand ambassador because I would show you things that people would be like, "Oh, I didn't think of that," or something like that, and maybe I help you make a decision on something. I don't know. But we need to wrap this video up. It's getting a little crazy, a little out of hand. Like I said, I can kind of ramble and go things on. So, there is hope. As you heard them say, this is an open-ended thing. There is no due date. There is no closure. Their own words, somebody might apply in July and it'd be like, this person will be a good fit. Let's bring them on. And they even said they're looking for 12 to start. That's where they want to start. So, as much as I am a glutton for punishment, and as much as I know all this is going to do is to lead to more disappointment for me, I have to believe there's still a chance. There's a reason why I met David with Dodge Garage. He writes for Dodge Garage in Detroit back in 22. Talked to him, and he ended up writing an article about my car and my weight reduction and all that. And there's a reason for that because I connect with people. It was scary because I knew who he was when I was at Speed Week at the Dodge event, and so it's like I knew who he was. And again, I'm always scared of rejection, things like that, so I tend to hold back a little bit. But I made that connection. I made that connection with a lot of you, and so this is where I need your help. Who knows? Maybe this video, they may make them take another look, depending how you all react. Maybe it's not, because let's be honest, if you're thinking badass, I mean, maybe you guys are watching this video and like, oh my gosh, stop the whining. And there's nothing badass about that. But you know what? Regardless, I'm at least honest with myself and not scared. I'm terrified. I'm tell you right now, I'm scared to release this video, but you're not going to get anywhere in life if you don't take risks, and even if they make you look dumb or whiny, whatever. But if you don't think so, comment below. Please comment, leave the comments, share the video. I'm going to, once I get this video released, I have a Facebook page, and I'm going to post this video on that Facebook page. So if you're on there, please share it. Tag people. If you happen to know somebody, if you have a good rapport with OC Motivator, Racer X, Butter, anybody, TK, although this really isn't in his wheelhouse, or Butter, maybe Mopar Insiders though, RT Life, I don't know, I'm just throwing out names. If you happen to know anybody who works for Dodge, or you have some insiders you know, writers, tag people. What I'm hoping is, just like a lot of you have had my back in the past, I'm hoping just as a lot of you have commented when I did the Chief Donut Maker interview video, which I wasn't an interview, just the video, because I never made it that far there. But a lot of you went in there commented about how I would have been a great Chief Donut Maker. And I don't know if I would have been or not, honestly, because again, that was one single role. And although I encompass a lot of things, I don't, I probably, if I was in charge, I probably wouldn't have chosen myself for that role either. But again, this is different. This is a team of them. And I really feel that I would fill a certain niche, a certain void for them, because I make connections with everyone. Like, there's some of you I know are retired in your 70s. I mean, there's some of you that were telling me that where you're racing at Atco the year I was born. But then there's also some of you that just got your license a few years ago, and this is like your first car. And I take pride in knowing that I can connect with anybody. Doesn't matter age, background, like, I am a people person. It's just I get along with everybody because I'm good at seeing. I'm a good at empathizing. I can see things from other people's point of view. I can see what it's like being in their shoes. And because I'm so rounded with all these things I do, all these experiences, it gives me something else to connect to people to. So again, if you think I would be a good badasser, if you think Dodge made a mistake sending me that rejection letter, comment, like this video, thumbs up. We'll see what kind of percentage I get for likes and all that on YouTube. And I'll share all that. I'll make posts and follow-ups and all that stuff with you all, because this is just what I do. So with that, thank you so much, because if you're here listening to me at this point, that means you've been listening this whole video, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. You are the reason I do this, and as disappointed and as horrible I've been feeling all day since this letter, just me talking to you, even though right now you're just these lenses on my phone camera, once I get this out there and I see the engagement, hopefully, yeah, I feel better already. So anyway, I really truly cannot thank you all enough. I appreciate all the support, and regardless of what happens with Dodge, I will see you at the drag strip, and I will still be driving a Dodge.